Welcome to our math lesson called the Spindle Box. The purpose of this lesson is it's a very beginning lesson in our classroom, teaching children the difference between the numeral and the quantity between the numbers 1 through 9. So with this lesson, they'll be able to see the numeral, but more importantly, understand the quantity. They'll be holding spindle or pieces of wood in their hand, and they'll realize that 1 is not very much, but 9 is a lot. So it's teaching them the numeral and the quantity that goes with that numeral. Here is what you will need for the Spindle Box lesson. We are going to show you the lesson using the traditional material that we use in a classroom. But of course, as always, we are going to show you alternatives of ways you can do this lesson at home with your kids with things you already have at home. For purposes of this video, we are going to show you the lesson upside down. Traditionally, your child would be sitting next to you, and you would have the lesson turned so that you could both see the numbers. But for the purpose of this video, we are going to show you upside down so you'll be able to see exactly how the series goes. So you'll start out this lesson, the traditional Montessori material has a 0 on it. And 0 is a little complicated to explain to kids, but what you'll want to say is that 0 is empty. 0 is nothing. So when you see the numeral 0, nothing goes in that slot. Then you'll move on to the next number. What does this say? This says 1. This is 1. And then you'll hand it to the child so that they're getting the concept. This is 1. Can you put 1 spindle next to the 1? All right. What does this say? This says 2, and they might begin to answer by now. Usually they'll know the first couple. This says 2. 1, 2. Can you put the 2 spindles next to the number that says 2? 3. 1, 2, 3. This is 3. Can you put 3 next to the number that says 3? This says 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the child will pick it up. This is 4. Can you put the 4 next to the number that says 4? This says 5. Can you get 5 spindles out of the basket? Inevitably, the child will catch on and they'll recognize the numbers and they will start to take over, which is great. That's exactly what you want. They may want to get the numbers out of the basket and lay them out. As long as they're taking the time to do the steps so they're counting each rod, that's what you're looking for. We always strive to show you ways to make this lesson at home so that you don't have to have the actual Montessori material. So here is a way that Miss Kelly and I have created to show you how to do the Spindle Box at home. These are baskets you can get at a hardware store, and we have purchased 9 of them. We put the number right inside here. So these can be stacked on a shelf and your child can go get them. Then they will have to line them up, which will be a lesson in itself. They'll have to make sure they line them up in the appropriate order. And then since we don't have spindles, we are using popsicle sticks. So they can count the popsicle sticks. This says 1, this is 1. Can you put the 1 stick in with the number that says 1? And they can go through the lesson this way. The popsicle sticks aren't quite as successful because when they hold popsicle sticks, you don't feel the quantity as much. One idea is you could use pencils because pencils have a little more diameter to them. They have depth so they can feel 4 pencils as opposed to 9 pencils. So pencils are idea. If you have a wooden rod, you could cut rods. You need 45 of them to go 1 through 9. So those are alternatives. The other thing that we want to make sure and mention, as we always talk about movement, in every video we can possibly mention movement. If you have a young child and they have the wiggles, put the basket of spindles across the room so that every time they are going to be counting their spindles, they have to go over and walk over, get the 1, get the 4, and bring them back over. That way the child is getting movement to and from the rug, and that will help them focus. The movement helps them learn. Enjoy the lesson on the Spindle box.